January 1, 1901, Australia gained independence. January 10, 1901, the first major oil discovery in Texas occurs near Spindletop in Beaumont. January 28, 1901, the American League of Major League Baseball declares itself a major league. March 2, 1901, the Platt Amendment is passed by the United States Congress. May 1, 1901, the Pan American Exposition opens in Buffalo, New York with 19 international participants on 342 acres. September 6, 1901, President William McKinley is shot at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York, and Theodore Roosevelt became the 26th president. 1902, actinium, at number 89, was discovered. January 1, 1902, the first Rose Bowl is held. January 28, 1902, a $10 million gift from Andrew Carnegie leads to the formation of the Carnegie Institution in Washington, D.C. April 2, 1902, the first movie theater in the United States opens in Los Angeles, California. May 20, 1902, Cuba gains independence from the United States. July 17, 1902, Willis Haviland Carrier invents the air conditioner. September 30, 1902, Binney and Smith Company was formed. 1903, black, blue, brown, green, purple, red, white, and yellow crayons are introduced. January 18, 1903, the first two-way wireless communication between Europe and the United States is accomplished by Guglielmo Marconi. May 23, 1903, the first direct primary system in the United States is begun in the state of Wisconsin. August 1, 1903, the first cross-country automobile trip in the United States is completed with arrival in New York. October 1, 1903, the first modern World Series of Major League Baseball is held between the American and National Leagues. November 3, 1903, Panama declares its independence from Colombia. December 17, 1903, inventors Wilbur and Orville Wright succeed in the first sustained unmanned plane flight. April 30, 1904, the Louisiana Purchase Exposition opens. May 5, 1904, Cy Young pitches the first perfect game against the Philadelphia Athletics in the modern era of Major League Baseball. October 3, 1904, the Daytona Educational and Industrial Training School for Negro Girls is opened by Mary McLeod Bethune in Daytona, Florida. November 24, 1904, the first successful field tractor is invented by American Benjamin Holt. February 23, 1905, Rotary Club of Businessmen is founded with the first chapter in Chicago, Illinois. April 6, 1905, in the ruling of Lochner versus New York, the 10-hour workday law and 60-hour workweek law for bakers is overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. May 15, 1905, the city of Las Vegas, Nevada is formed with the sale of 110 acres in the downtown area. May 17, 1905, Norway gained independence. June 1, 1905, the Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition is opened in Portland, Oregon. June 7, 1905, Norway gained independence. October 30, 1905, the Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition ends. 1906, lutetium, at number 71, was discovered. March 31, 1906, the Intercollegiate Athletic Association of the United States is formed to set rules for amateur sports in the United States at the urging of President Theodore Roosevelt. April 18, 1906, the 1906 San Francisco earthquake starts to hit eastern California, estimated at 7.8 on the Richter scale. June 8, 1906, President Theodore Roosevelt grants protection to Indian ruins and authorizes presidents to designate lands with historic and scientific features as national monuments. June 29, 1906, Legislation by Congress would continue to expand the national park system when it establishes Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado, preserving the most notable prehistoric cliff dwellings in the United States of America. June 30, 1906, the Pure Food and Drug Act and the Meat Inspection Act is passed. November 9, 1906, the first official trip abroad by a United States president occurs when Theodore Roosevelt leaves for a trip to inspect the progress in the construction of the Panama Canal. March 13, 1907, another financial crisis occurs in the business community with the beginning of the financial panic and depression of 1907. August 1, 1907, Aeronautical Decision is established. August 28, 1907, UPS is founded. September 7, 1907, the RMS Lusitania is launched on its maiden voyage from London to New York. September 26, 1907, New Zealand gained independence. October 1, 1907, the Office of the Superintendent of Prisons and Prisoners was established. November 16, 1907, the Oklahoma Territory and the Indian Territory are combined to form Oklahoma and became the 46th state. December 16, 1907, the United States Great White Fleet of 16 battleships and 12,000 men begin their first round-the-world cruise. 1908, rhenium, at number 75, was discovered. The same date when Congress adopts the 46-star American flag. January 1, 1908, the tradition of dropping a ball in New York's Times Square to signal the beginning of the new year is inaugurated. January 9, 1908, Muir's National Monument is added to the national park system by a proclamation of President Theodore Roosevelt after the 295 acres of coastal redwood forest is donated by William Kent. January 11, 1908, Roosevelt would add the Grand Canyon Monument to the system. January 16, 1908, President Theodore Roosevelt proclaimed the Pinnacle National Forest of rock formations and caves as Pinnacle's National Monument. February 7, 1908, he would continue the expansion of federally protected lands with Jewel Cave National Monument in southwest South Dakota. May 14, 1908, technology moves forward as the first passenger flight on a plane occurs when Wilbur Wright escorts Charles W. Furnas in the Wright Flyer III at Huffman Prairie Flying Field in Dayton, Ohio. September 22, 1908, Bulgaria gained independence. September 27, 1908, the first production Model T is built at the Ford plant in Detroit, Michigan. October 9, 1908. The U.S. Bureau of Public Roads completes an initial 2-mile macadam surface through Cumberland Gap with the Object Lesson Road, one of the first efforts to test a hardened road. October 14, 1908, the Chicago Cubs win the 1908 World Series. January 28, 1909, the troops of the United States leave Cuba for the first time since the beginning of the Spanish-American War. March 4, 1909, William Howard Taft became the 27th President of the United States. May 30, 1909, the National Conference of the Negro is conducted, leading to the formation of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. June 1, 1909, the Alaska-Yukon Pacific Exposition opens in Seattle, Washington, and of present-day Washington University. 1910, raw sienna, celestial blue, charcoal gray, dark Venetian red, light Venetian red, and permanent geranium red crayons are retired. February 8, 1910, the Boy Scouts of America is founded. April 15, 1910, in census of 1910 counted a United States population of 92,228,496. The 21% increase since the last census was the same rate of increase that had occurred during the previous decade. The center of the United States population was now within the city confines of Bloomington, Indiana. May 11, 1910, the start of American domestic tourism occurs with the establishment of Glacier National Park in Montana. May 16, 1910, the United States Bureau of Mines is authorized by an act of the United States Congress. May 25, 1910, the only flight taken together by Wilbur and Orville Wright occurs at Huffman Prairie Flying Field in Dayton, Ohio. May 31, 1910, South Africa gained independence. November 20, 1910, the Mexican Revolution begins. December 3, 1910, the modern neon lighting is first demonstrated.